I don't think that some of these people that live and work in some of these red states understand how much they screwed themselves, because the way Trump came in and shut down some of these things that Biden put in place as far as infrastructure and the environment and things, it's going to impact some of the projects that were already in place, where even, yes, some of these red states had gotten grants and loans for. And that's going to impact the people who would have been working on these projects and the citizens that would have benefited from some of these projects. So one of my subscribers let me know that Arkansas is in its find out season. And I don't even know if people from Arkansas and the workers from Arkansas even know how badly they have screwed themselves. All right, so one of Trump's executive orders halts Fort Smith's Bass Reeves Loop project. So they were creating a loop, a walking trail in Arkansas for the people of Arkansas. So it says the city of Fort Smith is basically $25 million grant, a grant to build the Bass Reeves Legacy Loop Greenway Initiative is on hold due to an executive order from Trump. The funding awarded through the Rebuilding America's Infrastructure for Sustainability and Equity, or RAISE, grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation is now paused while the order freezes disbursements tied to certain federal infrastructure programs, according to Talk Business and Politics. They are freezing infrastructure programs. Fort Smith had been awarded nearly $25 million through the RAISE program for the Bass Reeves Legacy Loop Greenway Initiative, a 14-mile project featuring both new and existing trails. This part, the Greenway would include 9.3 miles of new trails connecting schools, parks, jobs, medical facilities, and essential services. Fort Smith says it estimates around 20% of its residents live within a half mile of the loop. Talk Business and Politics reported that there is an uncertainty surrounding the funding for some previously awarded grants, and the city is in discussions with the state's congressional delegation about the issues. It's not just that loop, though. It's also energy and other infrastructure projects. In his first day in the White House, Trump signed a flurry of executive orders directing the government to dramatically change course on energy and climate policy, with uncertain effects on hundreds of millions of dollars worth of projects in Arkansas funded by former President Biden's signature infrastructure and climate laws. Trump's order, titled Unleashing American Energy, called for all federal agencies to immediately pause the disbursement of funds appropriated through the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 or the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. The executive order leaves unclear whether funding from the two laws that has already been obligated and awarded will also be frozen, let alone whether that action is legal. On January 21st, Trump's team issued a memo to the heads of federal departments and agencies clarifying that payment dispersals from the two laws should be paused only for supporting programs, projects, or activities that contradict Section 2 of the order. Section 2 specifically targeted funding for electric vehicle programs, such as charging stations and subsidies, but did not specifically mention renewable energy, energy efficiency, infrastructure projects, or many other parts of Biden's agenda. The memo narrowed the scope of what funding could be frozen, but it did not clarify whether obligated funds, meaning funds contracted between federal agencies and grant recipients, would be frozen. The memo also said agency heads may disperse funds they deem necessary after consulting with the Office of Budget and Management. According to Reuters, 84% of grants from the Inflation Reduction Act were obligated by January 17th, including 94% of all funding allocated to the EPA. Now, Arkansas grantees, including school districts, state government, and nonprofits, await word on whether funding disbursements will be paused. The Inflation Reduction Act and Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, also known as the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill, were landmark investments in clean energy, and infrastructure by the Biden administration. Together, they allocated around $370 billion in new spending to facilitate clean energy development, according to consulting firm McKinsey and Company. It's difficult to say just how much money has been directed to Arkansas because the funds are being awarded by many federal agencies, including the Department of Energy, the Department of Agriculture, and the Environmental Protection Agency. It is also difficult to say how many programs funded by the two laws could be affected given the wide latitude of Trump's order pausing funding. But the EPA grants alone add up to nearly $500 million. By the end of Biden's term on January 20th, the EPA had awarded funds to 31 projects in Arkansas to the tune of $478 million. All projects funded by Biden's Environmental Protection Agency in Arkansas after the passage of the Inflation Reduction Act and the bipartisan infrastructure law. So they have something called the Metro Plan, the Hope Enterprise Corporation, and you can see right here the amount that was supposed to be given for these projects: $100 million for the Metro Plan, $93 million for the Hope Enterprise Corporation, Arkansas Natural Resource Commission, like for almost $50 million. And you can see these other two, $42 million, $27.5 million for these other two projects. It says Trump's executive order calls for leaders of federal agencies to submit a report to his staff within 90 days and says no funds shall be dispersed by a given agency until the White House approves further disbursement as in line with Trump's stated energy policy. Among the funds that could be threatened is a record-setting $100 million EPA grant to Metro Plan, the city of Fort Smith and the Northwest Arkansas Regional Planning Commission for projects including infrastructure improvements, EV charging stations, expansion of trail systems, development of LED streetlights, and more. The improvements are expected to reduce carbon emissions by more than 1 million metric tons over the next 25 years. Some conservative activists in Fort Smith have been fighting the projects. So they don't want clean energy in their state. They don't want less emissions. They want their state to be unhealthier, and they don't want these people to have trails to walk around. They don't want their people to have jobs to work on to improve infrastructure in their state. And the people of their state keep voting for these folks. They're like, yeah, let's get rid of the waste. And they're not knowing and understanding that part of that supposed waste or the efficiency would be getting grants stripped away from their own state. And for the workers, the union workers, the people that actually work in the state that went along with it because America, they're taking money out of their own pockets. These people are silly. So let's look at what some of the comments in the Arkansas subreddit said about this. QTG says, enjoy Arkansas. When a small percentage of policies keep you voting one way, the rest will bite you in the butt. Hopefully the next 4 years, you'll learn something valuable. If not, I don't feel bad. No Writing says, that's like 3/4 of Arkansas's GDP. Ouch. Fit Needleworker says, what a bunch of Trump haters. They're Trump haters because he's taken, like this person says, he's taken away local jobs. So yeah. Okay, Art International says, I'm so confused. Sarcasm. Do you all really think the people in Arkansas who voted for Trump give a about electric vehicle chargers, solar panel programs for low-income families, greener school bus upgrades, or water and environmental projects? Objective Selection says lead water pipe abatement might be something for you to worry about if you have kids. Okay, Amount says there's a surprising amount of Tesla Trump turd drivers here, which is hysterical, to be honest. This person says they do not, and they just lost a massive job creation. So for the 70% of the voting population, good for you. And this person says 34% of voters voted for Kamala, 64% voted for Trump. Arkansas has 3.1 million people that live here, and only 1.1 million of them voted. That's 2/3 of our population that can't or didn't vote. Arkansas also has the highest rate of incarceration in the world for democratic nations. Arkansas residents do not deserve to suffer because our government and people are deeply indoctrinated. Arkansas needs help from the federal government more than ever on oversight. It's a shame that the same government in power is the same one that brainwashes our residents. They turn good people's bias against them. These people don't know better. Majority of the population voting in Arkansas received what little education they had before the Department of Education was formed. History classes are taught by football coaches. We have a serious problem here, and hate will only turn them further away from the help we need. Have some compassion for us, please. We are doing everything in our power to turn this around, but we can't if the rest of the country turns its back on us. Don't act like the whole world doesn't already forget we're here. And you know what? I think it has to hurt a little bit more before they decide to start voting differently. This person wants us to have some compassion for them. Why? Why? If they don't have any sense of survival, then maybe they need to live in their consequences for a little while. Anyway, let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. I got cut off. Sorry about that.